INFJs often move through life feeling like they see things other people do not. They pick up on shifts in energy, changes in mood, and silent tension that nobody has said out loud yet. They get strong feelings about people, situations, and relationships long before anything obvious has happened. To them, this feels natural. To everyone else, it can feel strange, intense, or even a little scary. From the outside, INFJ intuition can look like mind reading. They guess what someone is feeling with surprising accuracy. They predict how a situation will end when everyone else thinks everything is fine. They warn people about someone who seems charming. Then months later, that person shows their true nature. When this happens more than once, people start to feel unsettled. They do not understand how the INFJ knew, so they call it weird, creepy, or too much. The INFJ is often just as confused. They do not always know how to explain what they sense. They may say things like, "I just have a feeling," or "something feels off." When people demand a clear reason, the INFJ cannot always give it, because their intuition is built from small signals, patterns, and emotional details that are hard to put into simple words. Underneath, there is nothing magical happening. INFJ intuition is a mix of deep observation, emotional awareness, pattern recognition, and reflection. They notice what people do not say. They remember how things played out before. They connect dots in the background, while everyone else is focused on the surface. Still, to people who are not used to this, it can feel like the INFJ sees straight through them. That level of insight can feel exposing. It makes people feel like they cannot hide, even when they are not ready to be honest with themselves or others. Some people find this comforting. They feel understood and safe. Others feel judged, threatened, or suspicious, even if the INFJ is kind and gentle. The reaction often depends on how comfortable someone is with being seen clearly. This video explores why INFJ intuition has this effect. It looks at the specific ways their insight shows up in daily life and why those things can feel so unsettling to the people around them. Reason number 1. They sense hidden emotions before anyone admits them. One of the main reasons INFJ intuition freaks people out is their ability to sense emotions that have not been spoken yet. While others listen mainly to words, INFJs pay attention to tone, expression, body language, timing, and the overall feel of the interaction. They notice when someone says they are fine, but their shoulders are tight and their eyes look tired. They notice when a joke sounds light, but there is a small pause after it, like the person is checking how it landed. They notice when a person's voice changes slightly when they talk about a certain topic, even if they are smiling. This constant emotional reading becomes automatic. The INFJ does not sit there and consciously analyze every detail. Their mind takes it all in at once and turns it into a quiet inner signal that says, "Something is wrong," or "This person is hurting," or "They are angry but holding it in." When the INFJ responds to this, it can feel shocking to the other person. The INFJ might say something like, "You seem a bit down today," and the other person thinks, "How did you pick that up? I have not said anything." Sometimes the person did not even fully admit it to themselves yet. Being seen that clearly can feel uncomfortable. For people who are used to hiding their emotions, this can be especially intense. They may feel like their mask has been pulled away without permission. They might react defensively, deny how they feel, or insist that the INFJ is wrong. But later, when they are alone, they often realize the INFJ was right. INFJs can sense anger that is being suppressed, sadness under a fake smile, or resentment beneath polite words. They often pick up on emotional tension between two people even when no one has argued openly. They can feel when a group is uncomfortable, even if everyone is acting normal on the surface. This ability can be comforting in close relationships because it means the INFJ notices when someone needs support even without clear signals. But in more distant relationships, it can feel intrusive. People may think, "Why are you reading me like that? I did not invite you in." The INFJ usually does not mean to invade. Their mind simply tracks emotional reality in the same way other people track small talk and social rules. Still, the effect is the same. People feel exposed. This is one of the first ways INFJ intuition unsettles others. It reaches past the polite layer and lands directly on what is real. For some, that feels like relief. For others, it feels like too much, too soon. Reason number 2, they see patterns in people's behavior. Another reason INFJ intuition can feel scary to others is their ability to see patterns where most people only see separate events. The INFJ mind connects small actions, repeated reactions, and subtle habits into one larger picture. They notice how someone talks about their past relationships, how they handle stress, how they act when they are disappointed, and how often they follow through on promises. These things may look random to others, but to the INFJ, they form a pattern. Because of this, INFJs often sense where someone is heading long before that person realizes it. They might feel that a friend is slowly pulling away from a relationship, even when the friend insists everything is fine. They might sense that someone is about to quit a job, end a friendship, or cross a line, just based on tiny changes in behavior over time. When the INFJ brings this up, people can get uneasy. It feels like the INFJ is predicting the future. In reality, the INFJ is just paying close attention to what keeps repeating. For example, if someone always avoids responsibility when things go wrong, makes the same type of promise, and then backs out at the last moment, the INFJ will quietly register that pattern. They will not be surprised when it happens again. To everyone else, it may feel like a shock. To the INFJ, it is simply the next step in a line of familiar behavior. This can freak people out because it makes them feel predictable. Most people like to believe they are acting freely and randomly. Being around an INFJ can make them realize they are not as unpredictable as they think. INFJs also track their own patterns and the patterns in groups, families, and workplaces. They see cycles of conflict, avoidance, and repetition that others ignore or normalize. When they describe these cycles, it can sound intense or uncomfortable because it forces people to see themselves in a clearer mirror. Sometimes the INFJ will say something like, "If this continues, this is likely where it will end up," and people will dismiss it as negative or dramatic. Months or years later, when things unfold exactly that way, those same people may feel unnerved. They do not realize the INFJ was not guessing. They were reading the pattern. This is another way INFJ intuition feels strange. Others are reacting to isolated moments. The INFJ is reacting to the whole story. That wide view makes their insight feel almost supernatural, even though it is built from real signs that were there all along. Let me know when you want me to continue with the next 3 reasons. Reason number 3. They can tell when someone is lying or not fully honest. INFJs are very sensitive to when something does not match. They listen to words, but they also feel the energy behind those words. When a story sounds smooth, but the emotion feels flat, they notice. When someone says one thing, but their body language says another, it stands out. Even small changes in timing or tone can set off a quiet inner alarm. They may not always know exactly what the lie is, but they sense that something is off. It might be a fake smile, an overly quick answer, or a detail that does not fit with what was said before. While others brush it off, the INFJ feels a small, steady tension. Their mind starts connecting this moment with past moments from the same person. INFJs are especially tuned in to half-truths. Many people do not lie directly, but they leave parts out. They change the story slightly to look better or to avoid being questioned. To most people, this passes easily. To an INFJ, it feels like a shadow over the conversation. The content is not wrong, but the feeling is. Because they are naturally empathetic, INFJs often understand why someone is not being fully honest. They see fear, shame, insecurity, or defensiveness under the lie. This makes them less likely to explode and more likely to quietly register the truth behind it. But even if they stay calm, they rarely forget that moment. When they confront dishonesty, it can be unsettling. An INFJ might say, "That does not sound like the full story," or "Are you sure that is how you really feel?" The other person may feel suddenly exposed. They thought they had hidden something, and now it is sitting in the open, even if the INFJ has not said it directly. Some people react with denial. They insist everything is fine and accuse the INFJ of overthinking. Others become defensive or irritated because they feel challenged. Deep down, they know they were not completely honest, and it is uncomfortable to be seen so clearly. This sense for dishonesty can also show up in subtle ways. The INFJ might suddenly feel distant from someone who keeps bending the truth. They may grow quiet around them or lose interest in deeper connection. This is not random. It is their intuition responding to a pattern of dishonesty. People who want to hide things do not enjoy being around someone who can sense lies. They may describe the INFJ as intense, suspicious, or hard to fool. In reality, the INFJ is not trying to catch anyone. Their mind simply picks up small emotional and behavioral signals that do not line up. This ability can protect the INFJ from manipulation, fake friendships, and unhealthy relationships. But it also makes some people uncomfortable, especially those who rely on charm, polished stories, or image. To them, the INFJ feels like a quiet threat to their carefully controlled version of reality. INFJs often wish they could turn this off. They may try to ignore it and give people the benefit of the doubt, but even when they do, the feeling remains in the background. Over time, repeated small lies confirm what their intuition already knew. This is one of the reasons their intuition freaks people out. It makes it hard for others to hide behind words. It pushes things closer to truth, whether people are ready or not. Reason number 4, they ask questions that cut straight to the core. INFJs are not usually satisfied with surface talk for very long. They can handle small talk, but their natural focus is on what is real, meaningful, and deeper than the surface. This comes out in the questions they ask. While others might stay with safe topics, the INFJ often gently shifts the conversation toward what is actually going on underneath. They may ask, "How are you really doing?" in a way that makes the person feel like they cannot just give a fake answer. They may ask about someone's fears, dreams, or doubts before most people would dare to go there. To someone who is used to staying on the surface, this can be surprising. They may feel suddenly exposed, as if the INFJ has skipped several steps and gone straight into the personal part of their life. The INFJ is not trying to invade. They simply see that there is more happening than what is being said. INFJs are very good at noticing when a topic carries emotional weight. If someone lights up when they mention a dream, or tenses up when they mention a family member, the INFJ sees it. Their questions follow that emotional trail. They are drawn toward what matters most to the person, even if that person is avoiding it. Because of this, INFJ questions often reveal things people were not planning to share. A simple conversation can turn into a deep emotional moment. Someone who just wanted to chat finds themselves talking about their past, their insecurities, or their secret hopes. When they realize how much they have said, it can feel unsettling. Some people love this. They feel relieved to finally be real with someone. Others feel like they lost control of the conversation. They did not expect to be seen so clearly and may pull back or joke it off. INFJs also ask questions that expose contradictions. If someone says they want one thing but keeps choosing something else, the INFJ notices. They might gently ask, "If you say you want this, why do you keep choosing that?" Questions like this go straight to the heart of the problem. These questions can be uncomfortable because they highlight what a person is avoiding. They bring up fear, denial, or confusion that was pushed down. The INFJ is not trying to attack. They are trying to understand. But understanding often requires touching the sore spot directly. To people who are not ready for that level of honesty, INFJ questions can feel intense or too much. They might say the INFJ is too serious, too deep, or too personal. What they really mean is, you are asking things I am not ready to face. This direct line into the deeper layers of someone's life is a big part of why INFJ intuition seems strange. It does not circle around the edges. It moves toward what is real. For those who are ready for that, it feels healing. For those who are not, it feels like exposure. Reason number 5, they predict relationship shifts before they happen. Another way INFJ intuition unsettles people is in how they sense changes in relationships before anything obvious has happened. This includes friendships, romantic connections, family bonds, and even work dynamics. INFJs pay close attention to the way people show up over time. They notice when messages get shorter, when replies get slower, when tone grows colder, or when enthusiasm fades. These shifts are often small, but they stand out to the INFJ because they track emotional consistency. To most people, these little changes do not seem important at first. They think, they are just busy, or it is nothing. The INFJ feels differently. Their inner sense starts to say, this connection is changing, even when there has been no fight, no big event, and no clear explanation. Because of this, INFJs often feel the end of a relationship long before the other person admits it. They might know a breakup is coming months in advance. They might know a friend is pulling away even when that friend still shows up physically. They might sense that a coworker is planning to leave or turn against them. When the INFJ tries to talk about it, people can react in a few different ways. Some deny it completely and insist nothing is wrong. Some feel guilty because they know, deep down, that they have already checked out emotionally. Others feel unsettled because they had not even realized their own shift yet. To them, it looks like the INFJ is predicting the future. To the INFJ, it feels more like listening to a slow emotional change that has been happening quietly for a while. This ability can make people nervous. No one likes to feel that their hidden doubts or fading feelings are visible. They may feel like they have less control over how they present themselves. They may fear being confronted with choices they are not ready to admit. INFJs also use this sense privately. They may start to emotionally detach before the relationship officially ends. They prepare themselves mentally so that when the break happens, they are not completely shocked. This calm reaction can confuse others, who might expect more surprise. In some cases, INFJs will warn someone about a relationship pattern they see. They might say, if this continues, this will probably happen. At the time, it can sound dramatic or negative. Later, when the situation unfolds exactly that way, people remember what the INFJ said and feel uneasy about how accurate it was. This does not mean INFJs are always right. They can misread things, especially if their own fears get mixed into their intuition. But often, their sense of emotional direction is accurate enough that people notice. Predicting relationship shifts makes others feel exposed because it touches something very personal, the hidden side of how they feel about other people. That is why this aspect of INFJ intuition can quietly scare people, even when nothing openly dramatic is happening. Reason number 6. They know when someone is unsafe, even with no reason. One of the most unsettling sides of INFJ intuition is how strongly they can react to certain people without any clear proof of why. On the surface, someone might seem kind, charming, polite, or even impressive. Everyone else might like them. But the INFJ feels something deeper that does not match the image. They may feel tense around this person for no logical reason. Their body tightens. Their mood shifts. They feel alert, on guard, or strangely uncomfortable. Nothing obviously wrong has happened. No harsh words. No direct conflict. And yet, something feels off. This is where people often dismiss the INFJ. They say things like, "You are being too sensitive," or "You are judging too fast," or "You are overreacting." The problem is that the INFJ is not reacting to what is obvious. They are reacting to energy, small behaviors, and patterns that are easy to miss. INFJs notice how a person treats people they do not need to impress. The waiter, the cashier, the child, the friend who is not useful in that moment. They notice the flash of irritation when someone is told no. They notice how quickly a person changes their tone when the attention is not on them. They also track how often someone crosses small boundaries, interrupting others, ignoring the word no, making jokes that only cut in one direction, using private information in public ways. Each moment alone seems small. Together, it forms a picture. The INFJ may not have a clear explanation for why they do not trust someone, but they feel the pattern. They sense control, manipulation, self-absorption, or hidden anger. Their intuition warns them before anything big happens. When they share this feeling, people can get uncomfortable. If the person in question is charming or popular, others may even feel defensive. They might accuse the INFJ of jealousy, negativity, or being dramatic. But time has a way of proving these warnings right more often than people expect. Months or years later, the person who seemed so impressive might show another side. They might betray someone's trust, become controlling in a relationship, abuse their power, or reveal a hidden temper. When that happens, people often say, "I never saw it coming." The INFJ usually did. This ability can make people uneasy because it means the INFJ is not fooled by appearances. Social masks, fake kindness, and practiced charm do not work as well on them. People who depend on those things may feel threatened without fully understanding why. Even those who are not manipulative can feel uncomfortable knowing the INFJ sees more than they show. Being truly seen, including your darker sides, can feel scary if you are not ready to face them. INFJs often wish they could ignore these warnings. It would be easier to just go along with everyone else and not feel the tension. But their intuition keeps sending signals. And over time, they learn that ignoring those signals usually leads to regret. So they keep their distance. They may stay polite, but emotionally guarded. They may refuse to get close, even when everyone else is praising the person. This can make them look cold, stubborn, or strange. From the outside, it seems like they are reacting to nothing. On the inside, they are reacting to everything that is not being said. This is one of the strongest reasons their intuition freaks people out. It does not wait for proof. It speaks up before the mask drops. It makes people aware that they cannot hide forever behind a role or a persona. For those who value honesty and safety, this is a gift. For those who depend on hiding, it is a quiet threat. INFJ. Intuition feels strange to people because it does not stay on the surface. It moves past what is said and touches what is real. That alone can be unsettling. They sense hidden emotions before anyone admits them. They notice patterns in behavior that quietly point to where things are going. They pick up on dishonesty, even when it is soft, polite, or wrapped in charm. They ask questions that go straight to what someone is avoiding. They sense relationship shifts long before they show on the outside. And they often feel when someone is unsafe, even when everyone else is fooled. To many people, this feels like too much. It can feel like being seen without consent. It can feel like losing control over what others are allowed to notice about you. It can feel like someone is reading a book you have not finished writing. But INFJ intuition is not meant to attack or judge. At its core, it is a protective tool. It helps them stay safe, choose better people, and move toward what is real instead of what only looks good from a distance. It also helps them care for others more deeply, because they can sense when someone is struggling behind a strong face. The challenge for INFJs is learning how to use this intuition with balance, not forcing their insights on people who are not ready, not doubting themselves just because others do not see what they see, not using their awareness as a weapon, but as quiet guidance. When they respect their own intuition and combine it with empathy and boundaries, it stops feeling like a curse. It becomes one of their greatest strengths. It will always unsettle some people. Being deeply seen will never be comfortable for everyone. But for the ones who are ready to be real, that same intuition feels less like something to fear and more like something rare, honest, and strangely comforting.